All right, so here I am up on the summit of Sharon Mountain in Connecticut here, northwestern Connecticut. I think I'm in Salisbury. I'm not quite sure. I think we started in Salisbury. We're a little south of that now, I think. Basically, this is about 1,400 feet or so, 1,462 feet. This is the Appalachian Trail here in Connecticut, and a beautiful section here. I would say kind of uneventful from where I started, which was north of here, and just hit it south for about 2.5 miles to where I'm at now. But you get this really magnificent view here. Down there, you could see Lime Rock, the historic racetrack down there, and they are racing some cars out there. You could see, which is pretty cool. I did another video, but I think I got some of the things out here, the landmarks out here, a little incorrect here. So right there is Forge Mountain right there. That's what that's called right there. It's about 1,000 feet, not too big. Out there you get a fantastic view of, in my opinion, is the true beginning of the Berkshires. So right there, that is Bear Mountain, that peak there. You can see it right there. That is the highest mountain in Connecticut. Not the highest point. The highest point is Mount Frizzle, which is probably the one right behind it. It's most likely what that is right there. And then to the left of that would be Allender Mountain out there. You could probably see is what we're looking at probably. And right before that, to the left, directly to the left, would be Lion's Head, which I think is the true beginning of the Berkshires, the true southern point of the Berkshires. And out there you could see they just get bigger. Out there would be Mount Race and Mount Everett. Right there. I've hiked all those peaks out there. They're all fantastic in my opinion. Probably if you're going to hike to the highest point in Connecticut, it's on Mount Frizzle. I recommend doing Bear Mountain too, because the high point is about 30, maybe 60 feet higher than the summit of Bear, and it's sort of negligible. There is a nice view up there, but Bear Mountain's much better of a hike. But they're all worth doing out there. And this is what's really cool about Connecticut, is that we do have places like this that people don't know about. We tend to think of Connecticut as being crowded and sort of being a bit like New Jersey, but in northwest Connecticut, there is so much beautiful landscapes, and we have the Appalachian Trail, over 50 miles of Appalachian Trail going through here, and you can feel the history of this trail. This is the longest trail, I think, on the whole planet, hiking trail, which is insane. And these mountains are millions, hundreds of millions of years old. They're some of the oldest mountains in the world, and it's just insane. When you're hiking up here too, when you're hiking these types of mountains, you tend to be hiking from the very, very base. So out west, you go hiking, you'll start at maybe 8,000, 9,000 feet or something like that, and then you'll go hike up to 14,000 feet, and which is substantial. That's a lot of hiking. That's a lot of elevation gain. There's definitely some big elevation gain out west, and the mountains are certainly impressive. But out here, we do tend to start at like zero, So this hike in particular, about 1,400 feet is where I'm sitting at now, and I hiked over 1,300 feet to get here. So almost at zero is where I started. So that's what you get out here. I would say this part of the Appalachian Trail is a little uneventful. It is a nice view up here, which I think is worth reaching. But I would say there are better parts of the Appalachian Trail in Connecticut. Particularly Bear Mountain out there is a wonderful part. That whole section up there is wonderful to do. I would say south of here too, you keep going on this way, you'll eventually reach Mount Easter, and then you'll meet a few other little sub-peaks, and then you'll hit a beautiful section called Pine Knob in Kent, Connecticut, which has fantastic views also of the Litchfield Hills, and you can keep going to Bread Loaf, and obviously this trail goes all the way to Georgia. So really cool to be out here. I really haven't been hiking much this year. I've been busy with a lot of life stuff, and haven't been out as much. This is my first hike in a couple months, and so it's really cool to be out here. I haven't hiked Sharon Mountain before. Wanted to hike something that was a little bit more substantial than the Metacomet Ridge and the sort of 700-foot peaks out there, which are still fun, but it's not like this. These are so cool. And out there too, you could see very faintly, which may more mountains out there, which may be the Catskills. Don't quote me on that. I don't want to say it's the Catskills, because the Catskills would probably be a bit north of here in that direction. We're facing northwest right now. But there's definitely some substantial peaks out there, and that would be upstate New York is what we're looking at, that direction. And upstate New York, if you've been following my videos at all, you know I love it out there. It is an incredibly underrated state. The mountains out there are incredibly underrated as well. Just wonderful. I think that the state may be almost as beautiful as Maine. I think as impressive too. It's a beautiful state. It's not all New York City. Upstate New York has wonderful landscapes, incredible peaks. The Adirondacks too are amazing. So kind of running out of things to say. I was also thinking about how when I'm out here in the woods like this, and it's quiet and there's nobody here, it really separates you from whatever your issues in life or you got going on, whatever problems you're dealing with this week or just today. You're kind of physically separated from them for a period of time. It helps your mind kind of clear, and you know, just sort of come back with a clear head, which is really cool. It's very therapeutic to be out in the woods and in the mountains, and very rewarding too. You know, I bagged a couple of peaks. There was a North Peak for this mountain, Sub Peak, and this one as well. So it's really cool. And I do get nostalgic being out here, because it reminds me when I was a little kid. And, you know, I grew up in the 1990s. And in the 90s, for the most part, were pretty much unplugged. It was the last decade of being totally unplugged, truly unplugged. You know, we had video games, but they never went online, really. They didn't start going online until, I would say, almost the 2000s. And we didn't really have the internet all that, you know, until I was 12 years old. So I played outside a lot, in the woods with friends, running around, building forts, doing all this stuff. And being out here, I mean, this is what the ground would look like in the woods where I would play. And the smells and the landscapes and everything. That's what this reminds me of. It's so cool. So I think that's all I got for today. Stay tuned. We'll definitely have some more content. You know, I'm trying to do more car stuff. That's one of the things I've been doing too, is I got a project, Honda Prelude, that's really, I haven't been working on nearly enough. So I've been trying to spend more time working on that and getting that thing going, because it's a super fun project car. And just some other stuff like I'm trying to get into. So yeah, that's it.